A D N.
It's HeadphonesNeil!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to HeadphonesNeil Reviews. I'm your host, as always, HeadphonesNeil, bringing you my set of reviews for this week and updates and all of that good stuff. So there's a few things to go through for this week. So to start it off, I'm gonna get my review for Star Wars Skeleton's Crew out of the way, just because for me personally, there isn't that much to review. It's kind of a coming of age story for kids. They want to escape their lives, they go on an adventure, they meet all these different people, and they end up coming back home to kind of change the opinion of their parents. I saw a reply early on that said it's kind of like a sci-fi version of Goonies, and that's pretty much what it is. The final episode was decent enough. The only thing kind of highlight for me was a X-Wing pilot who kind of looked like Luke Skywalker, so I'm kind of still analyzing that, but other than that, it was kind of okay for me, so not really a show that I personally enjoyed, but it's also not a terrible show, so I kind of just wanted to leave it there. It was okay, but wasn't entertaining enough for me. I'm kind of more looking forward to Andor Season 2. So with that being said, I want to say in December, the full Battlestar Galactica series, the 2004 version, was made available on Amazon Prime. So I was like, oh, you know what? I know I've seen episodes here and there. I generally enjoyed it. I saw all of Caprica when that came out. So this is a good time to watch the whole series from beginning to end. But when I got into the episode 1, it started right off the bat with Previously On. And I'm like, how do you have Previously On an episode 1? So I finally got around to doing some research, and it turns out that there was actually a 2-part miniseries in 2003 that kicked off the whole series, and that prompted them to start and sign off on creating a season 1, which is the 2004 miniseries. So of course I went straight to Amazon Prime, saw that it was streaming. The 2003 2-part miniseries is one big, long, at 3-hour episode, so I decided to give it a watch and start my Battlestar Galactica rewatch there. And overall, it was a very good start. We get a brief recap on the birth of the Cylons, the war, and the miniseries itself starts with the potential of a truce between the Cylons and the humans. The Cylons break the truce, and that starts off the escape, the initial story conflicts, the power struggle. You have the lady who becomes the president, but then you also have Admiral or Commander Adama, who's commanding the whole Navy or the fleet. So we get the basis for what's going to be their power struggle. We see the initial reconciliation between Adama and his son Apollo. We're introduced to Starbuck, Boomer, Gaius Baltar, who I didn't realize that he was struggling with the whole Cylon thing from the start. I thought that was kind of a later thing where he was captured and then he was implanted of the memory of Cylon 6, I think she is, the one that Trisha Helfer plays. So, but apparently she was already a plant to begin with in Kobol, so I didn't realize that was a thing that started early on, and that his duplicity and all of that was something that was happening straight from the beginning. So it was good to get this initial rewatch in to learn about all the stories and basis for the rest of the series. So with that being said, I am now going to jump into the rest of the series and give it a watch and see how it goes. But like I said, overall I had good memories of it. I enjoyed the episodes I did watch, and I just never got around to watching it from A to Z. So that's kind of just what I'm going to do now, is watch them season by season and and give my reviews as I go. With that being said, I'm able to do that because I also just recently got through another rewatch of Stargate SG-1. So when I was going through this particular rewatch, I got to thinking that I would actually go through and share my favorite episodes from each season. So short of going season by season to actually just list off those favorite episodes, I'll have a link in the show notes where I do outline those in detail. But for me, each season, which I never really thought about it before, I thought about it on and off before, but one of those things that you realize in Stargate SG-1 that they do particularly well is in the first couple of seasons, they have singular episodes at some point where they recap what's going on in the season, or kind of like a previously on, but they recap the overarching story arc so we know what's going on. And then they kind of slow down on it because they're like, okay, well, there's enough storylines and we don't really need to have an episode dedicated just to that. But they do that later on in the show as well, just to recap, because the storylines are kind of consolidating and slowing down a little bit. So to kind of promote what's going on as an overarching thing, they do that. So that's one of those things I always thought was kind of funny in the beginning, because like in season 1 we have the episode called Politics, that basically it serves as more as the introduction to Senator Kinsey, but they also do a recap of the whole season. And then the second season does a similar thing, and then I think the time travel episode where they go back in time to ancient Egypt kind of serves as bringing back Kowalski and dealing with all of that. So and I think same thing with the episode and I know I noted this, but in one of the later episodes when General Hammond is going to reveal the existence of the Stargate and the Stargate program, that's another one of those episodes where they do a recap of prior missions and events and the battles and struggles that SGC and SG-1 have gone through. So that's another case where they do it over multiple seasons rather than a singular season. So I just thought that was always a good thing to have that recap if you're picking up there, or if you need to have some context for what's going on. But for me, for example, early on, like episodes like Torment of Tantalus, The Fifth Race, Shades of Grey, and even later for like the episode in season 6 called Abyss, where we have a fuller introduction to Ball and the conflict between him and General O'Neill, or Colonel O'Neill at that time, is a good setup episode there. So overall, lots of good episodes in each season, and not to say that the early season that they never had any bad episodes, but overall there were a lot of good episodes. They stayed pretty consistent with the story arcs, and then of course by season 8 they kind of realized that once the Gould threat is now no longer anymore, they focus on the replicators a bunch, and then the final 2 seasons are all about the Ori, which with the quest for the Holy Grail and Merlin's mantle and all of that stuff was well done. I would have preferred maybe 1 or 2 more seasons to deal with the ancients and the Ori and their origins and all that, but with the 2 seasons they did a very good job there. So like I said, these are all in the link. I'll have all my favorite episodes and a few runners up and things like that, but in general, it's one of those things where it's a very good show. It's probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite. So I definitely recommend giving it a watch if you're a sci-fi fan. With that being said, I am continuing to play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So generally enjoying the gameplay, which is fine. The individual missions are fun. Some of them I do have to try a couple of times before I can get through them. But I'm also starting to wonder what the progression is going to be like when we're going to go into other cities and things like that. So I'm kind of trying to keep an open mind there as far as all that's going on. But as far as the graphics, so while they are, early 2000s graphics, it is decent enough. It is a bit easier to play the game with a controller than the touchscreen for me. But then even for certain missions have become a little bit difficult. But overall, I'm entertained, and I did end up doing some research because I guess Smoke to me sounded a lot like Samuel L. Jackson, and doing some research, he is doing the voice for that character, so fun little tidbit there. So gameplay playlist is in the episode guide, and then of course the shorts are going up with each gameplay that I put up, so you get a preview of that. But overall, so far I'm enjoying it, so we'll see how far I get before I stop, but there is that. As far as this week's KLWP for beginners, to kind of add to the text box from last time, this week's episode is about backgrounds, images, and shapes. So to summarize that video, and the link will be in the show notes directly to that video, I share how to pick background images and then compare using that versus the image object ID, or the object, or the shape object. So the background tab, it basically just lets you set the background. You can set the fade and dim, or the dim and blur options. So if your wallpaper is kind of bright but you still want to see what's your icons and text and things like that, you can dim it, you can blur it to kind of have a different effect. And then the benefits of that versus images, which is just an object that you can set to hold your picture. So instead of taking up your full screen, if you just want it in a specific position, have certain animations, or if you want to be able to touch the image to open an app or a shortcut, or refresh your weather and things like that. And then the shape offers a couple of additional options like fades and rounded corners and things like that. So the video will be a full walkthrough, so you can see it step by step and see those comparisons live. But that's kind of what that's all about, is a visual of what each of those different things do, and a visual representation of using one versus another or the other. And that all goes to say that when we get to the global variables, that you can also set an image as a global variable to use it to set a background tied to that image, and then also extract colors or set it in a shape and do different other manipulations by setting a global variable. So with that being said, I am also still on and off playing Real Coaster. I've been uploading my gameplays just because now the latest level that I'm on, the moon base asteroid thingy, has been making good progress. And it's been a lot easier than the last level that seemed to take forever. So it's one of those things that's up and down as far as progress. But yes, I'm still playing that. And so I haven't really done the whole thing of just waiting and uploading the video once I get to the final stages of the level. But that's still in the back of my mind if I see that a level is going to take forever, or do the initial level start, a couple of updates in between, and then the final one. So there is that, but that's still also getting posted to the YouTube channel. So with that being said, that is all for this particular episode. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, want me to help with the KLWP testing as far as some of the things that you see in the video, and wanting me to put up a quick video on something you want me to help test, and you can comment on the video. For the Grand Theft Auto gameplay, similar thing. If you're not sure about certain settings or the controller, things like that, let me know. I can leave a comment. I can help check that out as well. Or if actually, that's not much else. I mean, besides that, the only other thing for GTA that I'm testing is the cheat code system, which I guess apparently the definitive edition has something built in where you can type it in directly, but the this version, the regular version, you have to like either attach a Bluetooth keyboard, or you have to like use a screen recording software via your computer, which I tested that and that didn't work. So I need to find my OTG switch, I guess, and see if I can set up a Bluetooth keyboard to make that work. Just because there were a couple of missions that gave me a lot of trouble, and I was like, well, let me temporarily turn on God mode, or let me get some quick cash and help get past it. I did actually, muscle through it and power through it and get through them. So maybe it's just a matter of I was tired at the time, but it's like, all right, well, I'm still curious to see how to get that to work. 'Cause I guess people say it works if you can get a Bluetooth keyboard or connecting it to your computer and typing it in, but then I see other people who say it doesn't work at all or didn't work for them. So I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but regardless, so far, at least in these early stages of the game, it is doable to complete the missions. It's just, for me, it probably takes a couple extra times to get through it, or I have to like practice the mission first and then do the screen recording to get through it, so you're not bored of seeing me replay the same mission over and over, or 30 minutes in, I've done the mission like 7 times and now I'm getting frustrated with it, and you can see it when I like try to rush through it and I fail for no reason. So with that being said, that is all for this particular episode. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback or anything like that, you can comment on the YouTube videos at youtube.com/pateln01. All the social media sites are linked on the website at headphonesneil.reviews, along with ways to support the show. So that's all linked there. So as far as next week's episode goes, it'll be a continuation of my updates on GTA. I'll have the next episode of Custom Live Wallpaper, or KLWP, for beginners. I am planning on starting to watch Battlestar Galactica as mentioned, so I'll have my initial thoughts on that as a progress update on that, and then just whatever else comes up and there's something to review, I will share and review and give all my thoughts and stuff on that as it comes up. But that is all for this particular episode. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.